Hello, beautiful friend. Thank you for being in this space. Happy Friday. Today, I wanted to share, and I'm just about to arrive at IKEA, by the way, so I'm going to do a tiny bit of safe driving as I park my car. But I didn't want to miss the opportunity because I was feeling all inspired, and I was like, when I get to IKEA and it's in the parking lot, I'm going to lose the beautiful light. So, true story. Anyways, how are you? Happy Friday. I wanted to sprinkle some extra magical stardust on you because today, Mercury, the planet of communication, the messenger planet, and also a planet of healing and an energy and archetype of going in between the known and the unknown worlds. Like as the messenger god, he's really adept at moving through, the so-called veil, right? So he just entered the sign of Pisces. The sun is in Pisces right now. Mercury is following right along. And Mercury in Pisces speaks of the dreams that we build through our communication. And so today I'm personally really sitting with the vibe of how do I communicate my magic in a way that's both within me and also around me. What words am I using to call upon my own sense of belief, worth, my inner compass of what I want to believe true for me, not from a fake it till you make it, but rather from a really incorporated and integrated sense of self. See, we're in the darkness now. Welcome to the shadows of IKEA. Shall we do some shadow work here? Why not? Let me park my van. So what does this mean? Well, that I wanted to invite you to be in that space and that inquiry as well, along with me today. I think it's a really powerful day to do that and to actually use your voice to communicate something out into the world. And to at least channel it through you, write it down, maybe record a video just for you where you are declaring what you want to step into, how you're ready to have an amplified sense of belief in the leaps that you're ready to take. Leap is an important energy here this month. It's a leap year, so we have an extra day this month, which always just feels really delightful in channeling that leap energy. Taking leaps in faith is something, and leaps into the unknown is something I've really I have always been in love with and fallen more and more in love with because it's such a catalyst for our growth and our quantum evolution and the space where you connect the dots. It's like if you're living sort of on an energetic track and you want to like connect in with something else, it often takes that leap in both an inner, your inner landscape and what that means for you, and also the practices and the things that you create. And that's, when I speak of the realm of the I know and I go and that gap in between, this is a wonderful time. And over the next couple of weeks, week and a half, right? As we conclude the month of February, which has had a lot of influx also of energy, Aquarian energy. My gosh, tomorrow we have a full moon in Virgo, which is the opposite and complementary sign to Pisces. This axis is really important for the connection between Pisces is really in the realm of magic, in the realm of intuition, in the realm of what's beyond our senses. And then Virgo is very much of the here, the embodied, that quality of just being with yourself and what I call divine discipline. That's the space in the neighborhood, the cosmic neighborhood of divine discipline, the things that you do day in and day out. So imagine connecting both that beautiful, ethereal, magical space of dreams and hopes and moving it through into the space of Virgo, which is the I'm here, I'm present in my life. It reminds me of something that when my husband and I did a lot of really profoundly beautiful plant medicine journeys and rituals and all sorts of things, especially in 2022. It was a big year for our own inner healing through exploration of that, which is very Piscean, very much in the realm of the ethereal and the I don't know, it's beyond the known. And when you make the choice to step into something like that, you may not feel ready. And as a medicine woman, something that I'm always anchored, that I've learned from other beautiful medicine people that are always in that, like, we're connecting that unknown with the known. We're dancing in between the spaces with our faith, with our curiosity, with our and with the inherent fear that comes and moving through that. So think to yourself, I may not feel ready, but I am here. So if there's an inherent leap or decision or something that you're like want to move into, and it's almost like right here on the like Mercury also is, again, communication. Imagine all those moments when you know there's something you want to say, create, do, take some action, even tiny, and it just stays like, it stays either stuck like here in your solar plexus, which is a space of action. It's the Leo solar radiating energy, or you're like, it's right here and it just feels like, very like stuck in the throat chakra region. Sometimes we don't feel ready in the sense that we've been taught what ready feels like, because ready oftentimes feels like I already know the answer. So there's almost like you need a guarantee. Like being ready almost means like I know this is going to work. And that is not the vibe when we're working with really bringing in new things for your life in a very, all of this sounds very like multidimensional and spiritual and super juicy, but it's quite practical. Because wherever you are feeling a sense of stuck, it's just like movement that wants to come through. And it gets to be very real and grounded in your day to day. So if you're feeling that, then this is an invitation to breathe some courage and bring some like leaping energy into that space. Take that leap and see what comes from it. It's also a time where I know so many of us are feeling really, really, really tender, moving through so many waves of hardship, and it might cause the tendency for us to pull back. So if you're feeling like you're kind of pulling back and you're sort of waiting out of a space of, I want to say fear, but I want to go a little bit deeper with it. It's like you're waiting for something and you're not quite sure what it is, but you know that waiting is causing you some discomfort. There's a crimping of your own self-expression that's happening in your own like movement through life. And what we want to ultimately cultivate is an inner experience that's not about these sort of highs and then we kind of like, we feel ready to do something and then we do it and then we might crash afterwards and then we're like, that like up and down is not the equilibrium. It's not the harmony that we want to seek when we're walking. It's really like this wave when you're like, you're walking in your magic, you're walking in your purpose, you're doing, you're seeing, you're connecting with the world, you're liminal listening, you're listening to who's around you, you're being proactive, and you're also in response to the things that are happening to you in a way that you just feel engaged. You feel present. You feel like, I'm here. That's the key. It's not about, the big things and I gotta do this and I gotta like, because then we're kind of working ourselves up to do something that feels really big. And then if it doesn't materialize the way we thought it would, we might feel frustrated and then we kind of like bail, not giving ourselves another chance or even an assessment out of curiosity about, well, what worked and what didn't work about this thing that I tried, and what's really the essence here. So a lot of like love up on yourself and find the points of peace within you and celebrate everything you've already done and accomplished. You're doing awesome. You're amazing. You are doing great. You're doing great. I don't care what it is you're going through or how you feel. I do care, of course, but my point is, regardless of the thing you're moving through and where you're sitting today in this moment, you're doing amazing. Amazing, truly. You have not missed out on anything. You've not missed out on any opportunities. Everything that's happened to you has been for a beautiful purpose of allowing you to become and belong more to yourself. That word belong it's so beautiful. And it's like, where do I imagine that feeling of like belonging to yourself? Like becoming yourself, which is not something that you like seek out. It's within. It's taking off all the filters and all the ways that you are not fully engaged in your own, in your own movement of life. No matter what comes, good days, bad days, and everything in between. But that feeling of belonging to myself, which makes me think also about the beautiful work we're doing with Aries in the North Node, or the North Node in Aries, and the South Node in Libra, which is that axis of me and we. The me is Aries. A lot of the work we're doing has to do with understanding. Who am I and why am I? And I've been noticing a trend, and I'd love to hear from you if this is something you've noticed in your life. But I've noticed in conversations I've had in my own experience how this is a time that is challenging us because relationships are shifting and falling away, and we may feel a sense of isolation. We may feel a sense that we're kind of reaching out, but we feel alone. We feel like we're just like, where are my people? Where are my people? And the people that I thought were my people, I don't know if they're my people. And there's while human beings are absolutely meant to thrive and grow in community, one of the big lessons we're learning here is the true power of who are you when everything else falls away. Everything else and every person in your life. Now, it doesn't mean that's going to happen. You can still be fully engaged in connection, in communion with other people. But notice where you are feeling that distress of, wow, this feels isolating. I feel alone. I feel like nobody understands me. I feel like I reach out, but it doesn't connect in. I feel like whether it's one-on-one or in spaces that you've joined, I've been noticing that. It's something that's and I've been working in this space for long enough to feel the ebbs and flows. And it's interesting because it's both like, it correlates to maybe ways that I'm feeling that are reflective of other, kind of the energy moving around us. And then because I have this beautiful opportunity to have all these really deep, amazing conversations with individual women in particular, this theme is like popping. So if it's you feeling that right now, find comfort in the fact that through that experience of perceived isolation, you are getting to know yourself better. And that space is tricky. It can be uncomfortable. I don't know if that air was like too loud. Sorry if it was like the space can feel tricky. It can feel very uncomfortable. It can feel very discombobulating. Like you're just like, try as much as you can to hold the energy of when that comes up for you. And again, to find your own belonging in yourself. Your belonging, your sense of home. Because my friend, that is the superpower. From there, your trust, your inner sense of trust, confidence, how grounded you feel, no matter what's happening, who's happening, what's around, what works, what doesn't work around you, you are then really in that space where you're radiating out your own truth, yourself. And we're constantly workshopping this. We're constantly in that space where you're like trying things out. And if you know that you're part of your purpose is to be in this like seeking energy all the time, which can also feel frustrating. And I want to mention that as well. I hear a lot this idea of like, I'm so tired of seeking and not finding. Let's completely recalibrate that. Let's use our beautiful faculty of the mind to recalibrate that. And let's use this full moon happening tomorrow, the 24th, in Virgo, moon over matter moment, where we can recalibrate that thought that says, I'm tired of seeking and not finding, and move it into my part of my purpose is to seek. And you will be seeking, if this is you, you will be seeking for many, 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 many years to come. Many. So instead of like waiting for, when things fall into place, which, spoiler alert, I don't think that's the plan. The plan is that they fall into place within you. And then from there, you interact with the world. You begin to design the experience, and design the experience fully open and connected and flexing and flowing with what's happening around you. You're not stuck. You're not stagnant. You're not in that like waiting. You're in the walking. You're in engaged. That's why I keep going back to like walking in magic. And what does that mean? To me, ultimately, it means this engagement with life. This I am in my own movement and momentum. And sometimes the walking in magic is very, very passive. Yes, there are absolutely seasons of that, of deep integration and deep moments when we are processing big things that are happening within us. And we continue on walking, and we continue on in that path. So the path of the seeker is really quite beautiful. And it is a path that guarantees a lot of evolution for yourself, as long as you have the willingness to keep walking it and to keep experiencing yourself and your life through a lens of curiosity, of grace, of belief. And again, this is a magnificent time to be in a space of contemplation of all of that, especially again, as I tie this back now to the beginning, as Mercury enters Pisces, this communication, this mind energy, and Mercury is quick, so he can help us like to be in a space of contemplation. So you can feel not untethered, but tethered to your intuition, tethered to yourself in a deeper way. And at the same time, because we live in a paradoxical world, untethered to all the stuff that has given you meaning before. Whatever, that's part of this, what feels like part of the quest right now, that a lot of us are in the space of like, I feel kind of like isolated and who am I? Why? Because you may have been defining yourself through the lens of who are you in connection to other people. Think about it. How you define yourself as the roles that you play as you interact with others. Daughter, sister, mother, employee, boss, etc., etc., etc. We see ourselves through all of these roles. And imagine, if you will, and maybe you want to do this exercise where you grab a page in a journal and ask yourself, like, when all of the roles fall away, and you can write the roles so you can see them, and your mind goes, okay, these are all the roles I play. Doesn't mean you're going to stop playing them. Doesn't mean you're going to stop interacting with these people in these amazing ways. But what happens when you detach yourself from, I'm not those roles, I am something more, I am this me, that then it's like, oh, well, that's part of the seeking and the quest is, well, great, who am I? Okay, well, that's what we're discovering all the time. When all of those roles are not present, who are you? And that's vulnerable. I want to really emphasize that is not an easy thing to do. But my goodness, it is one of the most liberating. And it's a constant practice. Because all of a sudden, if the things around you that are giving you meaning don't exist anymore, and any one of those could shift at any moment. At any moment, any one of those roles could shift. We want to be in a place of inner power and strength. That no matter what happens, you feel strong and in equilibrium. Yes, feeling the grief and the sorrow of how those things might shift, but ultimately, there's a sense of peace within you. And that's the power that we have the opportunity to cultivate now. Among many. Another thing I'm realizing, and this is where I want to ask you for input. Like, I would really, really appreciate your genuine input. I feel like right now, you know those stories where it's like choose your adventure? We're always having different paths, right? All of us are having different paths, and it's impossible to speak to everybody. It's impossible to cover all the bases. And I ultimately have to be aligned with what is true for me to like talk about that feels very much in integrity and is my current also like soul stretch. But where you come in is there are different tracks of how you might be ready to awaken something within you. And as I was thinking about them, there's this like take a leap energy. Like, do you feel like you're ready to like take a leap? There's this harmony, equilibrium, radiate energy is what I'm calling it. So there's leap, there's radiate, which is more of that like grounding into my sense of worth and just this like finding that sense of inner peace amidst whatever is happening in your life. That path can also include processing sorrow, grief, midwifing a new version of yourself, which leap also does. In any one of these versions, you're midwifing. But leap, radiate. And then there's this like breakthrough energy is the third one, which leap and breakthrough might feel similar, but leap is like there's an imminent thing I want to do, and I'm looking for the energy to like make it happen. The inspiration, the energy, the motivation to get in momentum. I'm feeling stuck. Breakthrough is about there's something in how you're playing in your life and how you're being called to play that is calling you to disrupt a system. Disrupting a system doesn't have to mean like some grand way that now you're going to change the game for it, but there's something that you know you're ready to break through, and that might be a calling that you may not necessarily know exactly what it is or where it's coming from. My guess would be if we look at your chart, Uranus probably has a big role to play. Between Uranus and Aquarius, whatever area in your chart, whatever neighborhood, whatever house those two pulses are hitting, there's probably an imminent like breakthrough that wants to happen. So I'm going to put a little fill-in form, and I would love to hear which one of those resonates most with where you are, very honestly speaking, so that I can then take take that information and create more YouTube videos with it and information on my podcasts or emails, all the things that I share that I want to continue being in service of helping us move through, and the things I create. I'm really excited to know what we're all feeling so that I can create a really potent experience for early April when we have the solar eclipse in Aries. It's a new moon and solar eclipse in Aries. That is a fantastic time to sit together to make something incredible happen. Like really, really potent, because it also is the entry gateway for some other really cool things. And however you feel about the cosmos, astrology, if it's like, oh, cool, or whatever, or wow, tell me more. The point is that all of these moments in time can become symbolic spaces for us to work in and work from. And it's kind of like my moon over matter philosophy. which is like, you know, using the new moon and the full moon to enact some change in your life and to find that as a milestone that you can actually move with. Because it's incredible how when we align with that, timing wise, it supports us to actually declare something and make it happen. And it becomes a beautiful impulse because it goes beyond the practical, more crunchy nature of like, oh, I got to do this because it's what I'm supposed to do, into the realm of really connecting the dots between the magic and the momentum and the mindset of, okay, here I go. And it could be something that's external, it could be something that's internal, but that's how I see these astrological pulses that happen, and why I've become more and more enamored with this tool to understand ourselves. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to go get my stuff at IKEA. So, thank you for watching this. Have a glorious weekend. Full moon. Delicious, beautiful, juicy. Let me know your thoughts on this video, on what resonated with you, on what you're seeking, what would feel really, really good to experience in your life right now based on those different tracks. Maybe there's something else. There will be space for you to share. And if you have any questions that you want to explore together, let me know. Let me know, because I can come up with so many incredible ideas, and often as a, you know, creatrix with all these things running through my system, I can come up with all these beautiful ideas, but it's like we're all vibing in different ways. So I want to know where you are and how those paths intersect. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon on my Love and Stardust. Mwah. Bye.